you believe that the 4-year cycle is over?
We'll see. I'm thinking that you'll still have cycles, but it may not line up with previous cycles. And I mean, the reason you get cycles is the halving cycle. I think it's a real effect. People are often skeptical that it's a smaller percentage each time, but actually it's sort of followed by another effect, which is the hodl wave, i.e. people that learn the hard way that cold storing and dollar cost averaging of Bitcoin is a safer and more conservative approach than market timing and so on. And so over time, a bigger percentage of Bitcoin are long-term stored, saved, cold stored. And so the percentage drop in the halving, it should really be considered related to, as a proportion of the Bitcoin that are on the market. And these cold stored Bitcoin are not on the market. And so then effectively that ratio is not diminishing in the way that people think it is. And also most technology adoption curves go through a kind of mass adoption surge, and I don't think Bitcoin has seen that yet. So, could get the opposite of diminishing returns, but this cycle could be an interesting one for that. There's a lot of people taking profit and new money coming in. The people that are taking profit will eventually run out of coins that they want to sell, or the allocation that they want to sell, the allocation they want to hold on to. And there is a large amount of sustained buying from ETF buyers, from institutions. About 30% of the BlackRock ETF is apparently institutional. And, so that means most of the ETF buying is actually just a new, more accessible way to buy Bitcoin for probably mostly people in the bracket of the top 10% by wealth in the UK minus top 1%. So just people in a professional, like business owners, doctors, dentists, lawyers, people with a share portfolio, small business operators. And when they decide to buy Bitcoin, they just call their broker or financial advisor and they reallocate from something else. So it's not necessarily new money, it's reallocated money. And so I think the ETFs enabled that second wave, the first wave being people who bought on Bitcoin exchanges or OTC cash transactions. And the third wave being institutional. I think the institutional wave is actually very new. Like that's an effect that takes a long time to ramp up. But nevertheless, the amount of Bitcoin buying is much higher than the Bitcoin being mined. So it's just a question of when the sellers run out of Bitcoin to sell or decide they don't want to sell anymore. And then presumably that will have an effect on the price. And then some of the people that sold might FOMO back in because, they may be thinking that looking at the history of halving, and if they see that invalidated, that will change their behavior as well. So there's a lot of market psychology in there. It's hard to predict. Bitcoin typically surprises people in some way or other.